No joke, what was supposed to be just another playoff game has turned into a full-blown mystery, something straight out of a suspense series. Everything unfolded so fast. During Game 2 against Houston, one of the team's key players went down with a pelvic injury. Now, injuries happen all the time, especially in the playoffs when the intensity is sky high. But this time, things took a strange turn. It all started when the player's agent sent out a cryptic message. And from that moment on, the internet hasn't stopped trying to decode what's really going on with this guy's pelvis. And let's be real, whenever you mix playoffs, injuries, and vague statements, curiosity goes through the roof. I'm here, even feeling under the weather, because this situation deserves attention. It's got layers, confusion, and a whole lot of speculation. You got fans refreshing social media every 5 minutes waiting for MRI results, others diving deep into conspiracy theories, and everyone else just asking the same thing. What on earth is happening? So let's break this down. Right after the game, news came out that the player was undergoing an MRI to check on the injury. Nothing unusual there. But the agent, instead of releasing a standard update like, "We're waiting on results," decided to go with something way more dramatic. The message said, and I quote, "Pray for the bear." That's it. No context, no clarification. Just those 4 words. And from that moment, chaos. People started linking it to all sorts of things. Some thought it was about the player himself, others thought it was a metaphor, and then there were those who took it literally and wondered if the agent was actually talking about a bear. Now here's where it gets interesting. Fans who follow pop culture immediately connected it to a TV show called The Bear, which, for the record, is amazing and definitely deserves more awards. But again, what does that have to do with a playoff injury? Nothing, right? Still, the internet being the internet, the memes came flying, hot takes started pouring in, and for a good chunk of the day, people forgot there was even a basketball game involved. It was all about decoding this cryptic phrase. But then the real clue dropped. Someone pointed out that the mascot for the Houston team is, yep, a bear. So maybe, just maybe, the message wasn't so cryptic after all. Maybe the agent was just being clever, saying pray for the bear, because once the player comes back, the bear, aka the Houston team, is in trouble. If that's the case, then okay, it's kind of funny. But still, this is not the time for riddles. People just want to know if the guy is okay. What makes this even more confusing is that the team isn't acting like it's a big deal. The coach spoke to reporters and said he's not too concerned. He even compared it to another pelvic injury that a different player on the roster had last month. Apparently, it's a similar issue. At this point, I feel like we've all become part-time doctors because we've had to learn so much about muscle strains, MRIs, and pelvic structures over the past few weeks. And that's just from watching basketball. To give you some context, this isn't the first time the players dealt with something like this. Back in 2023, he had a similar injury against a rival team. He fell hard, tried to brace himself, and ended up with a pelvic issue. It wasn't ideal, but what stood out was how he bounced back. Right after that injury, he put up monster performances, 56 points in one game, 42 in the next. So naturally, people are hoping that this is just another bump in the road, and that he'll come back firing on all cylinders like he did before. Still, until we get official results from this MRI, it's all speculation. The coach seems calm, the player isn't panicking, and yet the internet is absolutely losing its mind. And you can't really blame anyone. This is the playoffs. Every possession matters. Every injury changes the game. If he's out for even 1 or 2 games, it shifts the balance of the series completely. And just to add more fuel to the fire, there's another subplot going on. One of the league's top defenders, who's also a teammate of the injured player, didn't win Defensive Player of the Year. He finished 3rd, which is respectable, but for a guy who's been locking down the best scorers in the league night after night, it's a bit of a letdown. He's played 13 seasons and still goes toe-to-toe with 7-footers despite being 6'6". His footwork, his timing, his instincts, they're all elite. And yet, he walks away without the trophy. There's hope, though, that he'll land a spot on the all-defensive first team, which would be a well-earned recognition for the grind he's put in this season. Last night, he put on another defensive clinic, going up against one of the league's trickiest scorers, a guy who loves to draw contact and complain to the refs every time he misses a shot. You know the type. And still, our guy held him in check. It's performances like these that make people scratch their heads when he doesn't get more recognition. But anyway, while the awards drama simmers in the background, all eyes are still on the injury. As I record this, it's 6:15 in San Francisco, and the medical staff should already have the MRI results in their hands. Whether they've shared it with the front office or not, we don't know. What we do know is that every fan base, especially the ones still alive in the playoffs, are watching closely. Because this isn't just about one player. It's about momentum. It's about rhythm. And it's about how fragile everything becomes when one key piece goes down. You can have the best strategy in the world, but if your star isn't on the court, it changes everything. Opponents sense weakness. Matchups shift. And suddenly, a series that seemed locked in can swing the other way. And yeah, while everyone's refreshing Twitter hoping for a Shams or WOJ bomb about the MRI, we're all still here trying to read between the lines of vague statements and cryptic messages. Pray for the bear. Was it a joke? Was it a warning? Or was it just an agent being dramatic? Whatever it was, it worked. The whole basketball world stopped what it was doing and started paying attention. And maybe that's the point. In the middle of a grueling playoff series, sometimes all it takes is 4 little words to shift the narrative and remind everyone just how unpredictable this game really is. It started like any other playoff night. Tension in the air, fans locked in, expectations sky high. But somewhere between the opening tip and the final whistle, something shifted. A play of fall, a substitution that didn't feel routine. And just like that, the story stopped being about Game 2 and started being about something else. Something vague, mysterious, and completely unexpected. One of the team's most important players left the floor with what was Phi. No one panicked at first. These things happen. A player gets banged up. He walks gingerly to the locker room. You hope it's precautionary. But then came the tweet. A single cryptic tweet from the player's agent. Pray for the bear. 4 words. No context. No follow-up. No explanation. And just like that, the fan base, no, the whole league, spiraled into confusion. What did it mean? Was the player the bear? Was it a metaphor? Was it a warning? Was it sarcasm? Theories exploded on every timeline. Reddit threads got created in seconds. Was this about his injury? Was it serious? Was he out for the series? Was something else going on? People dug deep. Way too deep. Some said it was a reference to The Bear, the hit TV show. Others wondered if it had something to do with the opposing team's mascot, which, hilariously, is a bear. Maybe it was a message to them. Maybe it was a jab. Or maybe, and this is where things started to feel wild, it was a way to say that the bear, the player or the spirit of the team, was in real danger. Either way, nobody knew for sure. All they knew was that a player they absolutely needed to stay healthy had left the court, and now the only communication from his camp was a riddle. Meanwhile, the team kept things business as usual. The head coach gave a post-game press conference that was, well, classic him. Calm, collected, almost frustratingly relaxed. When asked about the injury, he said it didn't seem serious. Compared it to another player's situation just a few weeks ago. Mentioned it was a similar area. Mentioned it was being evaluated. Talked about next steps, about medical imaging, about protocols. But there was no urgency in his voice. No anxiety. You got the sense he either truly wasn't worried, or he was doing an elite job of pretending not to be. Still, fans weren't buying it. They've seen this movie before. A player gets hurt. The coach says it's nothing, and the next thing you know, he's out for the rest of the playoffs. So when the MRI was scheduled, and then later reported to have been completed, the hunger for answers only intensified. What did the scan show? Was there muscle damage? Was there inflammation? Was it a strain, a tear, or something even worse? And most importantly, how many games would he miss? 1? 2? The rest of the series? The stakes couldn't be higher. This player isn't just anyone. He's the engine, the emotional core, the guy who turns a tight game into a runaway in 5 minutes flat. The guy who's done it before. Remember the 56-point night against Miami last year? Followed it up with 42? He lives for these moments. And now, at a time when every possession is do or die, he's suddenly a question mark. To make it even more surreal, his own past injury history became part of the conversation. In 2023, He went down with a similar injury during another playoff run. Fell awkwardly, landed wrong, hurt his pelvic region. The comparison was instant. Was this the same thing? Was it worse? Was it the kind of injury that flares up again and again? That kind of context only made fans more nervous. Once a body part becomes a pattern, it stops being just bad luck and starts becoming a concern. While all this was unfolding, another story was quietly brewing. One of the team's best defenders, an absolute rock on that end of the court, had just been named to the All-Defensive Team shortlist but didn't win Defensive Player of the Year. He finished third. Now, finishing third isn't bad. But for a guy who's been anchoring the defense all season, guarding everyone from point guards to centers, it felt like a snub. 13 seasons in, still guarding 7-footers, still setting the tone, still impacting every possession, and he walks away without the award. But instead of sulking, he showed up last night and put on a defensive clinic. One of those games where you see his fingerprints on everything. He was matched up against a guy who lives at the free throw line, someone known for flailing his arms, grifting for calls, making a big deal out of every touch. And yet, our guy held him in check, forced him into tough shots, didn't bite on the head fakes, stayed disciplined. It was textbook defense, and it reminded everyone watching that awards don't define greatness. Impact does, and he still got it. As that defensive masterclass was unfolding, the other story, the one with all the mystery, continued to hang in the air. Pray for the bear. It was still the phrase of the night, still trending, still unexplained. Reporters tried to get answers. The team stayed silent. The agent didn't clarify. And a player? Radio silence. No social media post. No photo from the locker room. No reassurance. Just absence. That absence became louder with every passing hour. Because this wasn't just about an injury anymore. It was about uncertainty. About what happens to a team that's built everything around one guy, only to suddenly not have him available. Does the offense run the same way? Do the matchups still work? Do the rotations fall apart? It's not just that he scores, it's how he scores, when he scores, who he takes pressure off. He makes everyone else better. Without him, everything is just harder. And yet, the coach kept calm. Said they'd prepare either way. Said other guys would step up. And yeah, they might. But you don't replace this kind of player. You just hope he's not out long enough for the series to slip away before he comes back. As I record this, it's early evening in the Bay. The MRI results are probably already known inside the building. Whether they'll share them with the public or keep playing this close to the vest, we'll find out soon enough. But this moment, right here, feels like the calm before something. Either relief, if the news is good, or panic if it's not. And maybe that's why those 4 little words hit so hard. Pray for the bear. They're absurd. They're funny. They're cryptic. But they also captured exactly how everyone felt. Helpless, anxious, hoping for the best, bracing for the worst. Because in the playoffs, one injury doesn't just change a game. It changes everything. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. The NBA has confirmed the cancellation of the second game between the Houston Rockets and the Golden State Warriors. This decision has sent ripples through the basketball world, especially considering the high expectations surrounding both teams as they look to strengthen their positions in the playoff race. While details surrounding the reason for the cancellation remain unclear, the league's swift move raises questions about potential scheduling adjustments and the implications for both teams moving forward. The Rockets and Warriors have been 2 of the more talked-about franchises this season, each navigating their respective paths with differing approaches. Houston, amidst a rebuilding phase, has shown flashes of brilliance with their young stars, while Golden State, armed with veteran leadership and an experienced core, has been a formidable force in the West. The stakes were high for both teams as they faced off, and the sudden disruption to their schedules leaves fans and analysts alike wondering how this will impact their momentum. From a league perspective, the NBA has yet to issue a full explanation regarding the reasons behind the game's cancellation, fueling speculation among fans and commentators. Whether it's due to unforeseen logistical issues, player availability, or health and safety protocols, the move has certainly created a buzz. As teams scramble to adapt, the NBA's commitment to ensuring a fair and balanced schedule will be put to the test in the coming days. Adjustments to the calendar are likely, but the extent of any changes remains to be seen. For the Rockets, the postponement offers an opportunity to regroup and reassess their strategy. With a young roster still finding its way, every game is crucial in terms of development and building chemistry. The cancellation, while disappointing for fans eager to see the team in action, may allow for a better focus on individual player growth and refinement of team tactics. On the other hand, the Warriors, who are looking to reclaim their championship form, might view the canceled game as a missed chance to build momentum. With veteran stars like Stephen Curry and Draymond Green leading the charge, Golden State's ambitions for another deep playoff run depend on maintaining consistency and a strong rhythm throughout the season. The unexpected pause will certainly have some impact, but their experience in handling adversity could serve them well. As both teams await clarity on the rescheduling of the game, there will be a collective focus on how this situation unfolds. The league has assured fans that they are working hard to accommodate the necessary adjustments to the schedule, keeping competitive fairness at the forefront. For now, all eyes are on the next steps the NBA will take in resolving this unusual circumstance and how the Rockets and Warriors will respond once the game is finally rescheduled. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.